Hello, welcome back to Evil Genius Props. I am Mike, your evil genius, and what we're doing today is I got myself a new toy. It's a desktop CNC machine, one of the little guys. In fact, it's a Sainsmart Genmitsu 3018, which is 30 centimeters by 18 centimeters, I think. Check later. But we're gonna open that up, take a look at it, see what we got, see if we can get it set up. Maybe run it, maybe not. We'll see. Uh, I need to check out the software that I need to run it. But uh, it's an exciting new sort of opportunity and a new tool to add to the workflow, and we'll see what comes of it. Not sure how much I'll use it, but we have it, and I think it's going to be small enough that I can probably tuck it away under another piece of machinery or something in the shop here, as shop space is at a premium. Uh, so I basically have less than a one-car garage worth of room. So let's go get started.
Well, let's take a look inside, see what we got, shall we? All right. Various cables. Going to be looks like some more putting it together yourself than you would get from a 3D printer. As long as they have all the right pieces and they're marked, I'm okay with that. User's manual, reference guide for bits. That's handy. Like they designed it as like a poster, which is maybe less handy, but whatever. Look, makes me wonder if this has been returned. The other side. It's like some hardware kit, which is nice. More clamps. There's a chuck. Call it probe kit. Oh, that's handy. Random loose screw. I have enough screws loose. I don't need them to include some more. Power supply. And another loose piece of hardware. These are probably bits. Basically your router bit, router end, controller. Wasn't properly attached. Again, suggesting maybe this has been opened. This piece is broken. The loose hardware bits. Oh, that's where the loose hardware bits came from. Yeah, this really is looking like somebody returned this one. Not sure what this part's for. It may just be packaging. That may also be part of it. I'm not sure yet. Lift this out. Lift this out. Someone's at the front door. layers of packaging. All right, and this is the bed. The box over yonder. And a couple more pieces of hardware came loose. Ah, those pieces. Looks like they're twisting and falling out. That's the problem. All right. I think that's everything. Not a very big piece. It's what, 3018? I forget exactly what that means. I know that it references something in milliliters. Okay, so 180 and 300, roughly, which actually is 295 in this case. Nope, nope, it is around the 300. This is 305 millimeters. So 300 milliliters by 180 millimeters. Not a huge work surface, but good enough for at least to start off with. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot to do. This piece is broken, which is annoying. We'll see what this is for. Ironically, I could probably cut out a piece of acrylic with this. All right, hard to get. Gather up these loose bits. These are the sides. I think go basically like that. I think this is probably the back towards me. I think that motor's in the back. We'll take a look and actually, I don't know, maybe read some directions. Well, I'm going to take a look at this and we'll come back and start putting things together. All right, so let's start with part two, mechanical installation, preparing your base assembly. With the y-axis, space assembly upside down, move the cable ties from the bearing mount. I don't see any cable ties. Again, this is consistent with this might having been a returned machine. I do appreciate that it has an emergency stop button that is in fact just a big red button. More things need big red buttons in life. Looks like there's some sort of connector that should be attached to something, but it isn't. We'll see what that is. Well, that looks like it's already been done, or at least nothing there to do. So it's supposed to have 4 of these limit switches in the hardware kit over here. There's only one, but it also looks like there are some already installed. And 6 cable holders, so yeah, it looks like there's where our limit switches go. Cable holders. Calls for 6. And then 2 on the outside in the back. Yep. This has definitely been previously assembled. Rubber feet are already installed as well. That's the next step. All right, well, let's put this one back up. And yes, the motor does go in the rear. Onto the gantry. And looks like again we're doing some limit switches, some EBS. Yeah, limit switches are in place already. Those are the spacers. Cable holders, where the cable holders live. Cable holders live over here. So there's 2 cable holders on the outside and 1 on the inside that they decided not to do. M3 5mm. One goes, it looks like, goes here. That's supposed to go sideways, which is different than how most of my builds end up going sideways. This is actually a spacer templates tool to do these pieces on the side. The gantry, the way these apparently face these items. Again, though, broken. So okay, so then 5 14mm bolts, 1d12. Yeah, I don't have all of those. Well, looks like I'm missing the screws to put the gantry in place. There's the gantry. Go over here and actually use this little spacer tool to hold it in place. But I don't have maybe these 14mm, huh? Yeah, 14mm. So it looks like those are. The way this is set up, those aren't lining up. Really hard to get them to line up. So that's kind of annoying. So you've got those 6 T-slot nuts, I guess there's, and they just sort of slide in there, but they move around. So it's really hard to keep them in place. I feel like if I was installing those for the first time, again, this has already been done, I would probably use something to keep them in place. Once I got that, they give you the spacer tool to get them in the right place, but then they slide around. I don't actually have a way to correct it, so I'm pretty sure this one, top middle one here, this one isn't catching. But I don't know where the nut is. And I can't see it to like know which way I need to move it. So that's not ideal. And to fix it, I would have to take out all of the other ones that are lining up. So far, so good on the other side, at least. It's just that one that's not catching. So it looks like whoever had this and returned it got at least this far. I wonder if they got to the point where they had to start doing the electrical stuff and decided that it was just not for them. Now we do the side baffles, and this is where those pieces that were sliding around and falling out came in. All right, so looks like these are our M510s. Go in here. So you put this through the baffle, then you attach this that way. Well, assuming that they got this far building it. And I found these guys, T-slots, in the T-slots suggest they maybe had done that part wrong. So put that through the baffle. So I know why they did it this way, in that they can just use sort of the aluminum extrusion here and not have to make anything, just sort of cut it to length. But it'd still be nice if there was a better way to attach these than having them be loose. That being said, it worked out easily enough. I can't blame the manufacturer or Amazon on this one for things not being in the right place, because clearly somebody put it together and took it apart. I can blame Amazon for not disclosing that. Congratulations, now your machine frame is fully assembled. Ooh. Ah. Now, on to wiring. All right, so it looks like what we do on this is similar to attaching the sides. All right, then this goes on the back. It's about 30 millimeters. Right, once you get that in there, you cannot let it go thinking it'll hold. PSA. All right. Take a cheap screwdriver. I'm going to say I'm about 32 millimeters. And I'm going to say I don't want to deal with screwing this back in again. So 32 millimeters it is. Good enough. Ah, I was missing that piece. So this actually goes basically in one of the T-slots here, the cover. And it said there's supposed to be two of them. I found one, but given the nature of this build already, didn't make a big deal about looking for the other one. It was already in place. So I think I'm going to take all of these guys and lay them out just so I can see what's what here. Excellent. This is the short. Make sure I've got this to the right side. I do not. This is the shorter one is Excellent Plus, and that goes to the Excellent Plusative side. Helps to have it in the right direction. over there. And now I have X limit switches. It goes in there. Y limit switches. Y limit switches, right? Negative. So I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and plug these guys in on this side. Turn this on the side here. Because what we want to do is take our Y limit negative. Here, does it actually fit through these guys somehow? Sorry for the angle. I don't have a good way to set this up so you'd be able to see. But they put these in. They put in the wrong one. In the wrong spot. Okay. Maybe that's why they stopped. They got to that point, realized they put the wrong one in, panicked and gave up. Well, that doesn't fit, but that's okay. We have the ability to cut it ourselves. This isn't something that you would have to do normally, but mine came pre-installed poorly. Looks like this is a little bit tough to get in there. At least I'm having trouble. No, I'm not going to fight with that anymore right now. I'll come back to it. Okay, so it looks like the Z limits are basically almost the same length. But Z limit positive on the top. And then the Z limit negative on the bottom. So stepper motor cables are next. Z axis, X axis, Y axis, their spindle. All right. X axis would be the guy on the side here. Worth noting that plugs are not the same on both ends, so they are directional plugs. Red goes on the positive side, black on the negative. Still my favorite button, the emergency stop. All right, and at least on mine, it seems like that's its proud. No, the red part here doesn't go in flush. And then it goes into the helpfully labeled e-stop. E-stop were my favorite fables. So I also have this probe, but we haven't dealt with that. And we're to the part that says final checks. So it looks like it wants a Teflon-based lubricant, PTFE, not included, and I don't have. two things we didn't do here is do anything with this probe, which is fine. I might have to come back to that. And then we didn't install the offline controller. Granted, I can see where that goes. And I'm guessing this wants you to use this attached to your laptop rather than offline. However, my workshop is a dirty, dirty place. Oh, it included some cable wrapping, but didn't describe when or how to use that, or where to use that, I suppose is the question. All right, so there's our USB cable. Deal with that part later. I don't know that this is going to have a permanent home in my workshop. This might be something that gets boxed up and put away and pulled out as needed. This is one of those tools that goes in the, it's nice to have, but it's not really necessary for me at the moment. If after using this for a little bit, I exceed its abilities and find that I'm using it all the time, then I'll look into getting a bigger and a better one. Nope, it turned on. Just run through the paces here, see if everything works. That hit the limit switch. And apparently it did not like hitting the error switch. Okay, so it hit that error switch, that limit switch, and then threw an error, and then it froze up. And I had to reset that before it would work. That's not the way I thought that would move. Y controls seem to be backwards. Interesting. Oh, so it's not the board, it's in relation to the piece on the board. So if I had this here and I wanted it to move forward, that moves that back, which moves the drill this way. All right, that makes sense. All right, I'm not going to cut anything right now, but it is set up, and I'm going to see if I can get this cable cover in. Otherwise, that's it for this time. Wonder if maybe if I could slide this in and get it started and then slide it. Anyway, that's it for this time. We'll try it out next time and see what happens. But for right now, it's not a bad little machine, it looks like. Somebody didn't like it and sent it back, but like I said, we'll see how this integrates into my workflow, see what I use this for. It's one of those things where sort of in between the 3D printers and the laser engraver / laser cutter. I'm not sure how much this is going to get used, but there can definitely be places for it in the workflow. So we'll see where it gets used. That's it for today. Thanks for slogging through that for me. And we'll see you next time. And if you like it, like and subscribe. Thanks.